Welcome everyone to Fintech Perspectives. My name is Terry Angelos. I'm the global head of Fintech at Visa. And at Visa, we work with some of the world's most interesting and innovative companies. It's a real privilege to get to interact with them. And today, I'm excited to introduce the co-founder and CEO of Arcus, Edrizio De La Cruz, who is building a banking-as-a-service platform in Latin America. Edrizio, welcome, and good to have you on Fintech Perspectives.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's great to see you again. Excited to be a part of this.
So, Edrizio, great to have you on the show. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started Arcus?
Fantastic, Terry. So, I actually grew up in the Dominican Republic, and I immigrated to the States when I was 12. I grew up in remittances. Then, when I immigrated, I became a sender of remittances. When I graduated from the Wharton School, I decided it was a fantastic opportunity to not only become an innovator in the industry, but to give back to my community. And that was the reason why I decided to start a business predominantly in financial services in Latin America.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about the journey you had? So you guys were in Y Combinator, focused on kind of one part of the ecosystem and have sort of pivoted a bit. Maybe you can help us through that journey.
Yeah, so when we got into Y Combinator, we were a completely different company, actually. We were Regali, and we were a B2C app where immigrants could pay their families' bills back home. As we kept developing that business and learning more about the market, we wound up building our own infrastructure for bill pay in Mexico. And we noticed there was a lot of demand, not only from retailers and banks, but also fintechs. Around the same time. So we pivoted in around 2017 from B2C to B2B, from Regali to Arcus. And we started offering our infrastructure to a conglomerate of different providers, from retailers, banks, SMEs, and fintechs.
Got it. I think some of the best infrastructure companies sort of start out developing the service for themselves and realize it's actually quite a difficult thing to do and end up creating a platform. So that's a well-worn path. So Edrizio, Arcus is a fintech-as-a-service company. I'm curious, what does that mean? What kind of services are you offering? And in what geography do you guys tend to operate?
Sure. Fintech-as-a-service means we're democratizing access to fintech, meaning fintech is not just for tech companies, is for any company that wants to basically launch a fintech product on top of their existing infrastructure. A couple of examples of the companies that we work with are major retailers that you've probably heard of, like 7-Eleven and Walmart. You traditionally don't associate those companies with fintech products, but they've launched fintech products on top of our infrastructure. Walmart launched Cashi, which is an application that helps the consumers go to a Walmart store in Mexico, load it up with cash. And once they have that cash, they could pay things like their bills, gift cards, Uber, Netflix. And all of that happens inside on top of the Arcus infrastructure. So our goal is to really democratize access to fintech. And not just for tech companies. We predominantly focus on Mexico, and our goal is to be the infrastructure across LAC.
And do you guys take care of some of the regulatory burden for the financial services that you offer?
Yes, the bill pay doesn't require regulatory licensing. There are other products that we're launching very soon that do require, like peer-to-peer payments, and that does require licensing. And it's a very lefty process. It's about a 2-year process. Most fintechs, or even retailers for that matter, don't want to go through that burden and cost, quite frankly. So that creates another opportunity for us to provide more value-added services.
Got it. You also have quite a deep partnership with Robby, which is another fintech that we work closely with at Visa. Can you say a little bit about what you're doing with Robby?
Yeah, so Robby is a fantastic partner with us. Been working with them for a while now. So Robby wanted to launch Robby Pay outside of Colombia and in Mexico. And one of the key services that they were looking to add was the ability that once a person loads up cash into their Robby Pay wallet, give them a sense of utility, give that person the opportunity to pay their electricity, their cable bill, their water bill, their student loans or their credit card. The goal is to expand that relationship beyond Mexico and throughout everywhere Rappi Pay is in LAC.
So, Edrizio, I'd be curious to get your perspective on what do you think is next in the banking as a service, fintech as a service ecosystem?
I think when you look at the LAC region, when you look at 2018 to now, I think there's been a lot of focus from the existing fintechs to really target the existing bank population, which is about only a third of the population across LAC. So you see a lot of products around consumers who are banked. So a lot of card-centric products. I think the next wave of fintech products will be more centered around consumers who are yet to be banked. So I think there'll be a lot more focused on that first mile entry point into digitizing that consumer who's currently underbanked or unbanked completely. So we're seeing a lot of cash in or cash to digital products come into market, specifically in Mexico. And that includes our own. We have one of the largest cash to digital footprints in Mexico with 65,000 points of sale, where typically a consumer who is cash centric can go to a Walmart, 7-Eleven, or a Circle K, deposit cash, scan a barcode, and that automatically sends cash into the digital wallet. And that consumer has now become digitized and in essence, bankerized by having digital money into their digital wallet. So I think we're going to see a lot more emphasis on the underbanked consumer in the next decade.
In the US, we actually have a fairly large underbanked cash-centric community. What do you think US entrepreneurs and fintechs could learn from digitizing cash the way that you and others have done in Mexico?
Yeah, I think in LATAM it's a necessity because the majority of that market is underbanked and has been underbanked. And I think thanks for COVID, as a forcing function to digitize, we're currently seeing a wave of fintechs focusing more on the underbank as opposed to the bank, which has been the focus the previous 2-3 years. I think in the US it's a massive market. The majority of fintech products have been centered around lendtech, wealth management, and car-centric product, all three of which target bank consumers. It's a smaller population, but I do think that there's a massive opportunity of kind of doing the same thing that we're seeing in LATAM, right? Partnering with retailers, physical brick and mortar retailers, and have that as a first mile entry point for unbanked consumers to become banked and digitized.
Well, great. And hopefully we'll start to see that here in the US as we learn from experiences like yours around the world.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to chat a little bit about the Visa Everywhere initiative. So you are our most recent winner of our global Visa Everywhere initiative. Can you chat a little bit about how you got engaged with that program and how that's impacted your trajectory as a company?
So I learned about VEI this year. Actually, we applied. We thought it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. We were really excited when we got to the finals, and when we made it to the finals and I heard our name being called out as the audience winner, I was just enthralled. I really was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. And when our name was announced for the overall winner, I just completely lost my mind. I think I celebrated that night a little bit too much. But yeah, and I think that thereafter it's been great. We've been conversing with a number of potential partners on the Visa LAC team, which is inclusive of the Dominican Republic and Mexico as well. So we're really excited. I think there's a lot of potential.
So Edrizio, how are you working with Visa today?
So our goal of working with Visa is to be an enabler for Visa Direct. I mentioned earlier that we're launching a P2P platform as part of our product suite. We already have the bill pay element. In Mexico, we already have the P2P element because we're connected directly into the central bank. Working with Visa Direct would help us expand our P2P product beyond Mexico into other places where Visa already has Visa Direct enabled, such as South America.
Great. All right, why don't we sort of hop into a quick lightning round? What do you think is most misunderstood about your market?
Specifically, LAC FinTech is the opportunity. I think a lot of people see the opportunity as small, and it is small today because quite frankly, only 35% of the population in Latin America is banked. What they fail to see is that 65% of the population remains underbanked, but that number is quickly shrinking. So in fact, more people are about to be banked by 2030 than the people who are currently banked, which creates a massive opportunity. So I think that the size of the opportunity is massively misunderstood in Latin America.
What is your most magical payment experience? And you can't cite your own, but when you said that was magical, what was that?
I'm a big fan of Venmo. Because of the expediency of the payments, even though still using ACH rails, I think it's a 3-day settlement process. Their ability to be responsive and make you feel like you receive the money right away, and the overall consumer experience, the seamlessness of the application is something that is quite elegant. Our goal when we launch our P2P product early next year is to replicate the ability to have that same experience, but throughout Latin America. So we're really excited. We're going to make an announcement early Q1 in regards to that. We have a number of exciting partners that are already lined up. So we're looking forward to doing that. And we're looking forward to doing that beyond Mexico as we partner with Visa, which is going to be a huge element of our rollout of the P2P product.
What advice would you give to a new fintech founder that you wish you had taken advantage of?
Think big, but remain agile. You really have to have a very broad picture when you're doing a startup. You really have to shoot for the moon, but you have to be agile. And if something is not working, if you're not targeting the right segment, the right customer, you need to be able to pivot away from a product segment or a customer segment as needed. So agility and speed are like oxygen when you are startup early founder, because that's really your only weapon, right? Big companies have resources, but that's not your weapon. They have insight. That's not your resource. Your only weapon is speed. So you need to make sure that you move quickly while remaining big picture.
Got it. Yeah, that's terrific advice. Maybe I'll end with, you've been in payments a while. What surprised you most about payments?
The more you learn and the more you peel the onion of payment layers and the complexity behind them, you really understand now why there's so much excitement about payments and fintechs. That's because not only is the market massive, but the problem is multifaceted and multi-layer. There isn't just one type of company to solve payments. There's security companies, there's identity companies, there's payments companies, there's financial services companies, there's data companies. It's multi-layer and multifaceted, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Well, terrific. And we look forward to you making it a lot more efficient and a lot more available and a lot more democratic.
Thank you, Terry.
Well, thanks so much for spending time with us, and good luck.
Thanks, Terry. Cheers.